In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most kind, most people don't want to be happy, which is why they are not. They just don't realize this is the case. People are programmed to chase their foremost desire at almost any cost. Imagine the adrenaline-fueled superhuman powers people develop in life or death emergencies. It's just a matter of what that foremost desire is. Often enough, it's comfort or familiarity. There are many reasons people thought the feeling of happiness, but a lot of them have to do with assuming it means giving up on achieving more. Nobody wants to believe happiness is a choice because that's put responsibility in their hands, which is the same reason people self-pity, to delay action, to make an outcry cry to the universe, as though the more they state how bad things are, the more likely it is that someone else will change them. Happiness is not a rush of positive emotion elicited by random events that affirm the way you think something should go, nor sustainable happiness. Anyway, the real stuff is the product of an intentional, mindful daily practice, and it begins with choosing to commit to it. Everybody has a happiness tolerance and upper limit, as it is a capacity for which we allow ourselves to feel good. Other psychologists call it the baseline, the amount of happiness we naturally feel and eventually revert back to, even if certain events or circumstances shift us temporarily. The reason we don't allow those shifts to become baseline is because of the upper limit. As soon as your circumstances extend beyond the amount of happiness we are accustomed to and comfortable feeling, we unconsciously begin to self-sabotage. We are programmed to seek what we have known. So even though we think we are after happiness, we are actually trying to find whatever we are most accustomed to, and we project that on whatever actually exists over and over again. These are just a few many psychological impediments that hold us back from the emotional lives we claim to want. Here are a few others. Number one is everybody has a limited tolerance for feeling good. When things go beyond that limit, we sabotage ourselves so we can return to our comfort zones. That are pride of stepping outside themselves a crucial purpose. It makes people comfortable with discomfort, which is a gateway to expanding their tolerance for happiness. Number two is there is likability limit that people like to remain under. Everybody has a level of success that they perceive to be admirable and unthreatening to others. Most things people do are in an effort to earn love. Money, desire, dreams, and ambitions are built out of a space of swear. Lag is for this reason that some of the most emotionally dense people are also the most successful. They use the desire for acceptance, love, wholeness as fuel for better and for worse. The point is, once people surpass the point at which they think people will judge and ridicule them for their success as opposed to praise them for it, they promptly cut themselves off or, at minimum, severely downplay, minimize it so as to keep themselves in good standing with those from whom they desire approval. It's ultimately not that people value ego and material over love, but they think those things will earn them love. Number three is most prefer the comfort of what they have known to the vulnerability of what they don't. Even when what they don't is objectively much better. If we redefine happiness in terms of what human beings innately desire, comfort, inclusiveness, a sense of purpose, we can then make the choice to seek comfort from things that are ultimately aligned with what we want to achieve. Number four is many people are afraid that being happy, giving up on achieving more. Happiness is in an essential form. Acceptance is arriving at the end goal, passing the finish line, letting the wave of accomplishment wash over you. Deciding to be that way every day can make it seem as though the race is already over, so we subconsciously associate happiness and acceptance with giving up, but the opposite is true. The path to a greater life is not suffering until you achieve something, but letting bits and pieces of joy and gratitude and meaning and purpose gradually build bit by bit. Number 5 is people delay action once they know truth, and the interim between knowing and doing is the space where suffering thrives. Most of the time, it's not about not knowing what to do or not knowing who you are. It's about the resistance between what's right and what's easy, what's best in the long, what's short term. We hear our instinct, we just don't listen. This is the signal most common root of discomfort, the space between knowing and doing. Number 6 is people believe that apathy is safety. We are all afraid of losing the pieces and people that make up our lives. Some people try to cut ahead of the pain curve and don't feel themselves, feel as though they wanted to like those things in the first place. The undercurrent to hair is a sense that everything and all is impermanent, and while those things are more or less true, there is something just slightly truer, and it is that death gives life meaning. It is a fact that we can lose what we have that makes us it's scared and precious and wonderful. It's not about what pain you suffer, it's about what you suffer for. You can choose to cut yourself off from feeling good so as to buffer the sense of loss and suffer from numbness, or you can have an incredible life and mourn wildly when it's over, but at least there was a means to that. And number 7, few know how to practice feeling good or why it's necessary. It is almost essential to raising your upper limit, augmenting your baseline, and ultimately stimulating to the new chapters of your life without destroying them out of unfamiliarity. Practicing feeling good is simply taking a moment to literally let yourself feel. Extend that rush just a few seconds longer. Meditate on some things you are grateful for and let it wash over you as much as possible. Number 8, people who think happiness is an emotional response facilitated by a set of circumstances as opposed to a choice, and shifts to perception awareness. Number 9 is most people don't know that it's possible to shift their baseline, since it's always framed in a way of being how one naturally is. If I have heard it once, I have heard it 1,000 times. The woman with anxiety who says, "It's just the way I am." The man with a dozen irrational fears who attributes them to his personality. The thing is that nothing has to be an essential part of you unless you decided it is. Least of all anxiety and fear. In fact, those things are never essentially part of who someone is. They are learned behavior. Number 10 is people believe that suffering makes them worthy to have wonderful things in our lives without having suffered for them. Somehow translates to us feeling as though we have not truly earned them, and therefore they are not completely ours. On the flip side, the idea that beautiful, joyous things could simply be ours without any conscious creation of them on our part is terrifying, because the opposite could just as well be true. Number 11 is many people believe they can beat fear to the finish line. Worry is the Western culture pastime, and it's ultimately a deflection from the fact that we bow between extremes, not caring about anything or caring so much about one thing it could break us all together. Number 12 is happy people are often perceived as being naive and vulnerable. If nothing else, happy people are all stigmatized as being clueless and ill-informed and delusionally positive and disconnected from reality, but the only people who perceive them that way are people who do everything in their power to justify the negativity in their lives they feel they cannot control. It is people who don't choose a better life that are naive and truly vulnerable, as happy people may all lose everything they have, but people who never choose to fully step into their lives never have anything at all.